What's up, everybody? Justin here to do my Impact Wrestling Genesis. This show was Genesis, former Impact Wrestling TNA pay-per-view. This was Impact on Pop Genesis. I guess you'd call it a Genesis episode. Had a lot of big matches, had 2 or 3 titles on the line on this episode. Up first, we had a video package hyping up the Genesis matches with Ali, Johnny Impact, Alberto, and Eli Drake promos to kick off the show. First match of the night, right away, was a title match for the 3 titles on the line. Grand Championship. Yes, the Grand Championship still exists, and Billy Corgan is the one that brought it to Impact. I don't know who came up with the idea, but maybe he did. Even though he's not there anymore, but he's the owner of the NWA. So he's good for him that he's still in wrestling. I'm happy for Billy Corgan. I hope he does well with the NWA. So up first, the Grand Championship, EC3. Yes, EC3. The same guy that will probably show up and debut in the Royal Rumble on the main roster of the WWE. He used to be in developmental. He used to be in NXT before NXT was like its own touring brand. EC3 was there. He was Derek Bateman. I believe that's his real name. Derek Bateman. So I hope EC3 returns in the Royal Rumble. That'd be great to see. He's already gone from Impact. He did his last show at the last set of tapings. So anyways, I don't know how long they taped in advance, like 2-3 months or something, but that would be ridiculous. If EC3 is still on Impact Wrestling by March, that's just way too long to tape so many shows in advance. That's stupid. Because if EC3 is on Impact still in March from old taped episodes, the guy will probably be on WWE TV by then. It's rumored EC3 will be in the Royal Rumble and will debut at the event. Enough WWE EC3 talk. Matt Sydal challenging EC3 for the Grand Championship. This had special rules. It had no rounds. No rounds. Pretty good match. Both guys worked hard, had good chemistry. Matt Sydal wins with his shooting star press. Matt Sydal, the new Grand Champion. Good for him. Formerly Evan Bourne in WWE, Matt Sydal is now in Impact, and he's the new Grand Champion. So up next, we had the Knockouts title on the line. Knockouts Championship on the line. Laurel Von Ness, the champion. Another talent that is gone from Impact. She thanked them on Twitter. She's done with Impact. I don't know why she wanted to be done with them. Maybe they didn't want to pay her more in her new contract. I don't know. Maybe she didn't have a contract. Maybe she had a handshake deal and she thought she wasn't getting paid enough. I don't know. But Laurel Von Ness is the champion. She's still the champion, even though this was taped, 3 weeks ago or a month ago, this Genesis episode. Laura Von Ness was the champion, so I don't understand why she wanted to leave, but she did. She probably had a right to want to leave. Maybe she thinks she can get signed by WWE. I doubt she will be. Maybe she thinks she could go to NXT. I don't know. Or the Performance Center to just train. I don't know. Maybe Laura Von Ness can make more money on the indies and going to Europe, in the UK, then in Impact. Who knows? Laura Van Ness, the Knockouts champion, defending against Allie. I really like Allie. I thought she's going to win the title here. She deserves to be the Knockouts champion. She's been there like over 2 years. Allie is very good. She's really good in the ring, fun to watch. Has a great, awesome, sweet personality. She has a YouTube channel. Check it out. So Allie challenging Laura Van Ness for the Knockouts title. This was a really good match. Both of these women in Impact, I would say this was both of theirs best match I've ever seen them have in Impact Wrestling. It was a really good match. Both of them went back and forth, forearms. They went to the outside and brawled. Allie jumped off the stairs, did a flying forearm. So both of these women, Allie, Laura Van Ness, both of them, in my opinion, this was their best match they've ever had in Impact Wrestling. In their careers in Impact. Even though everybody knows Laura Van Ness is done with Impact. So obviously she's lost the title to somebody. I didn't read the spoilers and I'm not going to. But my guess is she probably lost it to Allie. So, again, best match of their Impact careers. Laura Van Ness wins. During the match, she actually hit a curb stomp on Allie. That is pretty cool. Laura Van Ness wins and is still the Knockouts champion. Next, Lashley, another guy. Lashley, another guy that's gone from Impact Wrestling. He was not going to try to re-sign, and they weren't going to pay him what he wanted. He probably wants over $150,000. They're not going to pay him that. Because Impact Wrestling, they don't want to pay talents that much anymore. And that's probably a smart move. To not pay talents more money when you can't really afford to, in my opinion. But anyways, hopefully Moose stays. I don't believe he's gonna leave. Hopefully Johnny Impact stays, because you need some names that people know. So is Lashley up against Moose. I wouldn't be shocked if Lashley shows up in the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't be shocked at all, because he probably will. I don't think Impact has a 30 days, 60 days, 90 days non-complete clause in their contracts. I doubt it. So, Laura Van Ness, maybe she'll show up in the Women's Royal Rumble. Who knows? In the EC3, he'll probably show up in the Men's Rumble, and Lashley might also. It's rumored Lashley's going back to WWE, that they would want him again. He was there 10, 11 years ago, or 10, 9 years ago, and he did pretty damn well. He was the ECW champion of WWE's brand. So Moose against Lashley, pretty good match. Stupid MMA trainer. I believe the guy's a real pro wrestling fan. He's just playing a heel character. Dan Lambert was at ringside with Lashley. He's an MMA trainer. I believe he's Lashley's MMA team trainer. Anyways, Moose wins. After the match, Lashley gets pissed off at Dan Lambert. He sees him for what he truly is. His character is a scumbag. And the guy was always running away from James Storm, running away from other wrestlers, not getting beat up. So Moose sets up a table, knocks down Dan Lambert, sets up a table in the corner of the ring by the turnbuckles. Lashley gets in the ring with Moose. Moose tells Lashley, basically points at the table, says, "Do your thing." Lashley does his running spear through Dan Lambert, through the table. The table absolutely gets destroyed in like a million pieces. It was pretty awesome. So Moose wins. Lashley goes up the ramp going like this to show respect to Moose. We might not see Lashley again on Impact Wrestling TV. That might have been his last match. I don't know. Or his last match he taped. So now we go to, they hype up the main event. The Grand Champion, not the Grand Champion, Global Championship, Impact Wrestling's World Title. They hype it up. It's 6 sides of steel. It's Alberto, Johnny Impact, the champion, Eli Drake. But before the main event, we go to Japan. They show a match from Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, for the X Division title. Ishimori, the X Division champion. Pro Wrestling Noah talent. Ishimori taking on and defending against Andrew Everett. Pretty good match. A lot of high spots. A lot of hard-hitting Japanese wrestling action. Or whatever you want to call it. It was just hard-hitting and pretty good. Again, this match was from Japan. Pro Wrestling Noah. Pretty awesome that Impact is showing their talent, work for other companies on Impact on Pop. I like that idea. I think it's a good idea for Impact in the future to keep working with these other promotions and bringing in their talent. So Ishimori retains. At one point, Andrew Everett did a shooting star press, but Ishimori, the X Division champion, got his knees up. So that didn't feel good for Andrew Everett. Ishimori wins with a 450 splash. He wins, retains the X Division title. Now we go to the main event. 6 sides of steel for the Global Championship. Eli Drake against Johnny Impact against Alberto El Patron. Chris Adonis, a.k.a. Chris Masters. Used to be Chris Masters. Chris Adonis is outside the cage cheering on Eli Drake and helping him. Supposedly Alberto was trying to apologize. I don't know. I think he did on Twitter or on social media, or maybe called him on the phone. I don't know. And I don't care. But supposedly Alberto was apologizing to Triple H, or wanted to, and said he wants to go back to WWE again. Please no. I don't want to see that. The guy was already there. He's U.S. champion. And then they put him in a group with, I believe they're called United Nations or something, with Wade Barrett, Rusev, Sheamus. And nobody cared about the damn group. But Alberto, the guy's too old. The guy can still go. I don't like him personally. I think he's a dumbass. And I think he's a really bad influence on Paige, but that's in the past. I still think the guy's a dumbass. I don't want to see him back in WWE. I hope they don't bring him back, because that'd be a really stupid idea. The guy's... You don't need him. Alberto, you don't need to go back there, and WWE doesn't need you at all. You're like over 40 years old. And nobody would care. My opinion, nobody would freaking care if you went back to WWE. You'd get zero reaction. And people would just hate you and not want to see you on TV like they do to Jinder. Even though they keep putting Jinder on TV, nobody wants to see the guy. Trust me. So main event, Alberto, I think he'll be done with Impact in probably a month or two. I don't think he'll still be there. Maybe he will be. So triple threat in the 6 sides of steel pretty soon, probably 2 weeks. Impact Wrestling, or next week. Impact Wrestling went back to the 4-sided ring. I like the 4-sided ring better anyways. The 6-sided ring, I've seen it. It's just, it's not cool anymore. It's not innovative. I've seen him long enough and it can go away. And it has gone away. I don't know whose idea it was to bring back the four-sided ring, but Don Callis, I believe, is going to be the head of creative, or the president. I don't think he's going to be the president, because the other guy's the president. Ed Norham, he's the president, but whatever. They brought in Don Callis. I believe Jericho actually called Impact and told them they should hire Don Callis to run things. They listened to Jericho. And good for Jericho for getting his friend Don Callis a good job in wrestling. Even though Impact, I wouldn't want to run that company and try to bring them out of the gutter or try to bring them back and try to get fans to realize that he still exists. I wouldn't want to do that job unless they paid me like $1 million. Then because I'm such a big fan of wrestling, I'd probably do the job for, I don't know, like probably $8 an hour, because I would like to be in the wrestling business. So anyways, basically I would work for barely anything to be in the wrestling business. If I could run things and be the head of creative or something like that. Anyways, Global Championship, it was a good triple threat. I still don't like Alberto. Personally, the guy's a jerk off. The guy's a dumbass. The guy's a drunk idiot, probably drug addict. I like Johnny Impact. Johnny Mundo, formerly John Morrison in WWE. Guy's a great talent, and he's still pretty young. I like Eli Drake. The guy's good for Impact Wrestling, is Eli Drake. So, I was just reading something. I apologize, on ESPN. Talking about my Brewers getting some new players through trade, and I believe it's, anyways, Lorenzo Cain, I believe. If you know who that is, he played for the Kansas City Royals for a couple years. And before that, he was in the Brewers minor league system and on the Brewers major league team for a while. Then they didn't re-sign him, and he went to Kansas City and has had a pretty damn good career. And I guess Lorenzo Cain, he was an outfielder, he's coming back to the Brewers. I like that, because the guy's still a good player. So, good triple threat in the 6 sides of steel. All 3 guys worked well together. Johnny Impact went up to the top of the cage. He could have escaped and won the title, but no. He saw Alberto in the ring. He saw Eli Drake in the ring next to each other. Johnny Impact had to do a dive off the top of the cage. Probably 20 feet up. Did a high cross body. It was pretty awesome. Then Alberto almost escaped out of the door, but Chris Adonis slams the door on Alberto's face. I loved that. I love seeing that, because I don't like Alberto. Anyways, Eli Drake, out of the cage, climbs over the top. Johnny Impact also climbing over the top at the same time. They're both going to the floor. I thought they were both going to jump and they were both going to touch the floor at the same time, but that didn't happen because Johnny Impact tried to jump to the floor. Chris Adonis behind him catches him in a bear hug and is holding Johnny Impact up. His feet are dangling. They didn't touch the ground. Eli Drake jumps down. Eli Drake wins and retains. Is still the global champion. Is Eli Drake, with help from his good friend Chris Adonis. Pretty good ending, good finish, pretty innovative. Having both guys climb down at the same time, but one guy gets caught by the other guy's partner, and his partner is holding up Johnny Impact. Pretty awesome finish. Pretty good episode of Impact on Pop. This was Genesis 2018. My Genesis Impact on Pop review in the books. This episode, I would give it, I really enjoyed the Knockouts match, probably the best. And it was cool to see Matt Sydal win a championship in Impact. He's a new grand champion. Final grade, I give this Impact on Pop Genesis, I'll give it a B. It was a pretty good episode. Not the best, but not the worst at all. It was good. Bye for now, everybody. This was my first Impact on Pop review of the year. Probably will be another one in February. Bye for now.